Beneath the surface of the Strait of Hormuz, U.S. Navy million-dollar UUVs are executing a detect-to-engage mine countermeasure cycle. We have been told unmanned systems would replace legacy minesweeping. But these UUVs have encountered a catch that no simulation predicted. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has saturated the battle space using Mosquito Fleet fast attack boats, deploying advanced influence mines across a high-clutter seabed. Now the problem becomes technical. How does a UUV classify a contact? Mine versus debris? How does it achieve positive identification without crossing the mine's trigger radius? The strait is thousands of square miles of contested water. So how long US Navy UUVs will take to finish this complex mine countermeasure mission? Let's find out in this very interesting episode of Megaprojects Uncovered. If you want high-level military breakdowns like this, real systems, zero fluff, smash that subscribe, lock in the bell, and give us a hype. For decades, naval mines were pretty straightforward. They were essentially floating balls of high explosives that functioned on contact. You hit it, you go up. Well, those days are gone and buried. In this 2026 conflict, our boys are facing influence mines like the Maham 3 and the Maham 7. An influence mine is a passive predator. It doesn't need you to touch it. It just sits there and listens to your ship's acoustic, magnetic, and pressure signatures. The Maham 3 is a moored influence mine. It's tethered to the bottom but floats at a specific depth, just waiting for a ship's unique hull signature to pass overhead. But the real pucker factor comes from the Maham 7. This is what we call a bottom resting mine. It sinks to the seafloor, and in the high sediment, silt-heavy waters of the strait, it often buries itself completely. If you're running standard surface-mounted sonar from a destroyer, you won't see a thing. It's a ghost in the mud. To make it worse, US intelligence reports the Iranians have likely lost track of their own minefields. We're navigating a graveyard where even the gravedigger has forgotten where the bodies are buried. To find a mine buried under 3 feet of silt, the Navy brought in the Knifefish. This is a medium-class unmanned undersea vehicle, UUV, basically an underwater drone that's a specialist in high-clutter littoral environments. The Knifefish's secret sauce is its LFBB sonar, or low-frequency broadband. Your standard high-frequency sonar just bounces off the top of the mud, but LFBB penetrates it. It sees through the sediment, allowing it to distinguish between a Maham 7 and a discarded shipping container or a rusted pipe. April 2026 is actually the first time this system has been used in a contested, active mining environment. By acting as an off-board sensor, the Knifefish does the dirty work in the minefield, while its mothership, like an Independence-class littoral combat ship, stays miles away in safe water. But the Knifefish is just the scout for smaller patches. For wide area search, we use the Mk-18 Mod 2 Kingfish. This 600-pound heavyweight is based on the Remus 600 platform and carries Synthetic Aperture Sonar. SSM is a game changer because it provides high-resolution, photographic quality imagery of the seabed over massive swaths. While a human explosive ordnance disposal EOD diver might take weeks to clear a square mile, a Kingfish can map it in hours, pinpointing every rock and Maham series mine with terrifying precision. At this point, you'd think the mission is a slam dunk. We have the sensors, the robots, and we can see the invisible, but this is where it gets complicated. The Strait of Hormuz is currently an electronic warfare, EW jungle. Iranian shore-based units are flooding the spectrum with jamming and spoofing signals. The catch with most UUVs is the data link. If the IRGC can jam the frequency or spoof the GPS coordinates, that million-dollar robot becomes a blind, floating brick. Or worse, it gets hijacked. To counter this, the Navy fast-tracked the Lionfish SUUV. Based on the Remus 300, the Lionfish is the Navy's first truly cyber-compliant undersea drone. It uses a modular, open architecture design with encrypted control links specifically built to survive the heavy jamming environment we're seeing in theater. But what if the mission stretches into weeks? You need endurance. Enter the Triton AUSV, an autonomous underwater and surface vehicle. This 15-foot hybrid is wind and solar powered, meaning it can stay on station for over 30 days. The Triton uses a genius tactical trick. If an Iranian speedboat swarm appears on the horizon, the Triton doesn't try to run, it submerges. It can dive to 328 feet and sit there for up to 10 days, silently continuing its sonar sweep while the threat passes overhead. Its radar cross-section is so small, it vanishes from a scanner at anything over a quarter mile. It is essentially a ghost hunting ghosts. To deploy all this hardware, we rely on the Independence-class LCS. This ship is the mothership, designed to carry the MCM mission package, a modular suite of UUVs, sensors, and helicopters. These robots don't work in a vacuum. They are part of a mesh network called the Digital Ocean, managed by Task Force 59. Every bit of sonar data is relayed back to a centralized robotics operations center. They're using AI to identify safe pathways, statistically clear lanes through the minefields that are shared with commercial shipping to bypass the Iranian toll laws. The hubs for this whole show are the motherships, the USS Lewis B. Polar, a massive expeditionary sea base, and the LCS units like the USS Canberra. They stay outside the red zone, acting as the brain for the off-board robotic sensors. Now, you'd think we have the perfect robotic shield, right? Wrong. Recently, a much more dangerous problem has surfaced, and this time, it's not the Iranians, it's US. On paper, the Navy should have cleared the strait in a week, but here is the catch. The strait isn't a sanitized laboratory, it's a high-clutter environment. The seafloor is a mess of 50 years of wrecks, containers, and shifting silt. This has created a data processing bottleneck. Our UUVs are generating so much data that the AI is drowning in false alarms, struggling to tell a Maham 7 mine from a rusted pipe. Because the new tech is hitting these snags, the Navy has been forced to fall back on legacy minesweeping. They've rushed the Avenger-class ships, the USS Pioneer and USS Chief, all the way from Japan. These are 30-year-old ships with wooden hulls. Why wood? Simple. Magnetic signature. A wooden hull won't trigger those magnetic influence mines. While UUVs are great at finding mines, the Avengers have the raw power to neutralize them. They carry acoustic and electromagnetic tools designed to spoof the mine into thinking a massive tanker is passing by, detonating it at a safe distance. But even then, we have a find versus neutralize paradox. A robot can find a mine, but it can't always neutralize it. To bridge that gap, the Navy uses the MH-60S Seahawk and the Archerfish system. The technical sequence is this. Once a UUV marks the coordinates, the Seahawk drops the Archerfish destructor, a small, expendable suicide drone. A sensor operator guides it via fiber optic link, gets a positive visual ID via camera, and fires a shaped charge warhead to blow the mine sky high. It's precise, but it is painfully slow. And that leads us to the final, most devastating catch. The most capable minesweeping platform we ever had was the MH-53E Sea Dragon. It was the only aircraft with the raw horsepower to tow the Mark 105 magnetic sled, a hydrofoil that can clear massive lanes in a single pass. But the Navy retired the Sea Dragon fleet in August 2025. We have these million-dollar robots, but clearing the strait is still a grind, not an easy fix. The Pentagon admits that fully restoring traffic could take a full 6 months. The frontier of naval warfare is unmanned, no doubt. But as this 2026 crisis shows, the human element, the EOD divers, the legacy wooden ships, and the sailors managing the data flood, is still the only thing keeping the global economy from sinking. The robots are hunting, but the strait is still holding its breath. I'll see you in the next one.